Yes. You know what day it is. You guessed it.
Hump day.
You was right. First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Ooh, with the whisper. First Sky Omaha, let me whisper in your ear.
Take a little something that you like to hear. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
I got my caption all wrong.
Got the day wrong. Leia Keister already coming through. Whooper.
There it is.
Whoopor. Whoopor? Oh, okay.
Yeah, here, you got to turn up a little bit.
Turn me up.
Check 1, 2. Hump day.
Hump day.
Yeah, you sound better now. Gotta get up and move your body.
Been doing it, dang.
As Buddy looks sultry in the camera. What up, what up, what up? Can y'all hear us all right?
Hello. Can you hear me out there?
Hello. Y'all know what it is. Fresh edition of First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners. Thank you for joining us this morning on this Wednesday, May 10th, 2023.
Man.
Hump Day, they call it, and Women's Wednesday that we call it around here because we will be politicking with P, Precious McKesson, and seeing what's good in the hood with Kimara Snipes. It will be our special guest today, and of course, all of you who are special guests as well. Oh, yeah. Find out there's a couple different categories of ghost listeners, which I think is really interesting. There's ghost listeners that are really just kind of tune in every once in a while when they hear, oh, you better go check out and see what they're talking about over here. And then there's other ones that are like quietly supporting the channel and what we do as well on all kinds of different levels, throwing in some information research here and there, get a late night DM with some information about stuff. Others are contributing to the channel. So it's really interesting, man, how this thing works and getting to know how people engage with this.
Yeah. And however you engage, we're just happy that, you engage. So thank you. If you're tuning in, whatever you are, if you're one of those ghost listeners that just tune in and, come haphazardly, we still appreciate you. Most
definitely.
We say, first time listeners, last time listeners, we love you all the same.
Very true. Looks like we got people in the chat already going off on the YouTube side. YouTube. I had a little trouble with Facebook this morning, so anybody listening on Facebook, even if you're a ghost listener, just give me a hey. Make sure the Facebook's working right. Leia Keister in the house says, "Whoop whoop her, whoopie doo Women's Wednesday." That's what's up.
Quite excited.
Whoopie doo. Yes, she is very. I appreciate her excitement in the morning. Gets me going for sure. Pop says, "Good morning, First Sky crew and fam." What's going on, Pop? Rose Reviews. Yeah, man. Rose Reviews says, "Yang Yang twins. Is that you?" Hey, First Sky Omaha, whisper in your ear. Pop says, "You guys sound good. Thank you. Hey. Lucia Rodriguez says, "Buenos dias. Good morning to you as well. Thank you for joining us this morning."
In the dias.
Yes. Loving the sober socials thing that you got going on. I highly encourage people to go check that out.
That's Lucia.
Yeah, man. She's behind the whole. Her and the partner behind the whole deal. So yeah, it's a great concept. As a matter of fact, we've changed some things over at the Benson Theater, put some mocktails in place for the people that want to come and hang out, but not really drink. And I'm definitely on that sometimes. Sometimes I imbibe, but sometimes I like to Like last night. I went to go see a friend that was in town, and it was the only thing we could really do late night was go to the bar. You know what I'm saying? And I was
Man,
like, I gotta get up at 5 o'clock in the morning for the show. I don't know if I want to drink tonight. So yeah, man. Oh yeah, Wells Lavelle says dry spokes. Yeah, that's the new spot. It's the new spot. So check that out over there in Leavenworth, man. Kind of in the hood a little bit around from Make Believe and all that
okay, okay,
area.
okay.
So
Yeah,
yeah, man, it gets down.
yeah. Don't gotta throw off your equilibrium to have a good time.
Or your diet or anything,
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
that you're
yeah.
going for. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's up. Again, thank you for coming in. Miss Kimara Snipes is here early this morning already. Says
Hey,
good morning, y'all. Appreciate you. Can't wait to talk to you a little later on in the show.
yeah. Live alive with you a little bit.
Yes, love that.
Yeah,
Well,
man.
how you doing, by the way, buddy? How's
Yeah,
your been
speaking of
all this
living
week?
alive, I'm all right. Again, you might be familiar with the name Brother Nuna GL. Came through, was hanging out a little bit. I think he might be asleep right now in the guest room. But yeah, yeah, yeah. Shout out to all the chat chimers coming together and living the live together, man.
That's what's up.
Working on some things in the background. We are trying to expand. So if there are any chat chimers out there who are, interested in helping us and supporting us uh a little more actively, we we would like to say
Yeah.
reach out, let us know. We're definitely interested in expanding. And again, Paul and I are just two people, but we are looking to do some more things. A lot of projects coming our way, a lot of people kind of approaching us with ideas and ways to collaborate. And again, that's kind of the thing for the season. Teamwork makes the dream work. So if anybody again wants to team up, collaborate, assist us in what we're trying to do, as far as tell the stories that aren't being told in the ways that they aren't being told, kind of read between the lines, as you know what we like to do, get down to the nitty gritty of things. So yeah, yeah.
We are looking to get this calendar together. We've been talking about the HAPS calendar for a while. People are telling us that they like the HAPS and that they kind of depend on us being able to talk about what's going on. So
Yeah.
definitely help with the HAPS calendar. Also event help as well. So people that know how to throw events and can help us do some event planning and kind of head up throwing certain events and stuff like that. So those are a couple of the things that we're looking for support for. So let us know if you can volunteer a little time on some things like that, and we'll get some stuff organized. But
Yeah.
yeah, especially now, man. I always feel good. I always fall in love with where I'm at in the springtime. So
Man, and getting ready for the summer. That's kind of
right,
really where I am, and feeling that excitement, feeling that enjoy, and just really looking forward to what the summer or the rest of the year has. Feel like I planted a lot of seeds, kind of towards the end of last year, and some things are blossoming. Some opportunities are coming back around. Just some things are happening. And going into the summer is picking up steam as far as just
yeah,
some of the work, some of the projects that I'm doing. Looking forward again to our website here or first Sky Omaha and some of the new things that we're doing. Pretty excited about that. So yeah, yeah, just kind of preparing to do the work, preparing to spend some time with family over the summer.
mhm.
So yeah, yeah, just getting ready for that, man. That's where I am. That's how I'm feeling. How about you, man? What's going on in your world?
Yeah, same man. Like I said, I'm happy about spring, happy about going into summer, happy about some of the plans that we got going on, some of the changes that are being made. Getting a little worried about the funds in order to keep this thing going, but we got some plans to try to make some things happen there. But I think I'm more excited about what's coming for sure. Shout out to Wells Lavelle, brother Lavelle, because I'm gonna go roll out to the res with him today.
Nice.
And yeah, man, we're gonna go meet some brothers and meet some new folks and all that good stuff. So I got a trip out there. I'm looking forward to. Haven't been yet, so I'm really looking forward
Yeah,
to that.
yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. And
Yeah,
like this is your first time ever. Like it's
out of the res here in Nebraska. Yeah, yeah, for
yeah.
sure. Yeah, I live next to reservations, a couple of reservations in California, so I used to always go there. But it's the first time I'm going to one out here in Nebraska, so it'll be fun.
Nice.
But she says y'all should plan a golf outing fundraiser. Yeah, that's one of the things we want to definitely plan for sure. Smash a little white ball, a tournament.
Man.
I like that
Yeah,
idea a
you'll be
lot.
down with that. I used to actually back in the day, and Mama God in the chat, she might remember this. I used to work for the Cox Classics. I used to volunteer and work in the Cox Classic tournaments, one of the bigger tournaments in Omaha, out at Eagle Run Golf Course. Good time, good time. They be having live bands out there and music playing, and
Mhm.
yeah, it's a good time. Beautiful, got the
I
sun
remember
beaming
playing
on you.
a golf tournament once. Now that you said that,
You said you played in a tournament before?
I played music at a golf tournament.
Oh, okay, 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 okay.
Yeah, Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man,
that's
the
a good, good
Cox
idea.
Classic is a good time. I mean, but the first Sky Classic, we get down. It really get down. You know what I mean?
I like it. I like it. Yeah, that's what's up. Mama God says good morning. Good morning to you as well. Appreciate you coming on in. Looks like we do have some Facebook folks.
Yeah, a few.
Guillermo Enrique Pina Valadera says, "Yeps, he's on Facebook. Appreciate you coming on in, letting us know Facebook's working. Mama God too. Do us a favor and share the show. Share the show on your page, and let's get as many people in the room talking as we can. Also, want to give a shout out to the 6:30 crew. I already got a message from Beth. She likes the music, so the mix was
Hey,
well. Mix was
getting
good.
down.
You can go to firstsky.omaha.com, hit the listen button, or if you have Amazon Alexa, tell her to play First Sky Omaha radio and get down on some black music.
Man,
The celebration of all styles. So
celebration.
it goes down. Judy Printer says, I am here. Right on. Appreciate that. I am here. And she can hear us too. I like that.
Hey.
On Facebook. Appreciate you very much. Let us know how you guys are doing this midweek.
Yeah, yeah.
How everybody's feeling. Like I said, Leia Keister came in hot this morning. She's feeling very, very excited, which is great.
Yeah, feeling whooper. Feeling very whooper.
Feeling very whoopor. I like that. Also, Miss Erica Felt in the chat says, "Good
Hey.
morning, friends. Good morning to you as well." Lucia Rodriguez says, "La celebration." Yes, I'm always looking for a reason to celebrate.
Yeah, man. Live alive together, man. That's what it's all about. So definitely big shout out to everybody who's living alive with us right now. Tuning in. We appreciate you. We love you. We thank you. No, that was a happy mistake, Miss Judy Princer.
Yeah, she's
Just
here and
leave
she
it.
hears us. I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it.
just leave it. Just leave it. Amy H. No died in the chat as well saying good morning. So
Hey,
yeah. Top of the morning to everybody tuned in, even those not in the chat, those out there ghost listening. We appreciate you. We love you.
yep.
We thank you all the same. As always, you can catch us on First Sky Omaha. .com, the listen button, as Paul alluded to earlier. We usually have that 6:30 pre-mix popping, kind of the pre-game before the show. If you want to get down with us, you can tune in there and listen to the jam. Paul puts in some nice gems there, so definitely check that out.
6:30 always starts with a Prince song, and
Yeah,
then
man.
you never know where I'll go after that. So.
Hey, again, follow the thread, live alive with us, and roll with the punches, man. And that's exactly what's going to happen for the next 2 hours. Not exactly sure what's going to happen, but we do know that Sisters Precious McKesson, Kimara Snipes will be stopping through to speak with us. So looking forward to that. Also, we do have a few stories to dive into. So before we get into the official launch of the show, I want to let you know again, we do have some heavy topics to get into. A couple things that we had teed up for Monday that didn't really get into, especially when to talk about this parole board situation. Of course, we've been speaking with the senators about their last push in the, I believe it's just about a week, if not under a week, left in the legislative sessions. So and definitely looking forward to see if they can get any prison reforms through. And we're already seeing some changes from the parole board, so we'll definitely talk about that.
Yeah.
Also, there is some more money coming to the police. Again, a new fire and police headquarter will be designed, so we'll talk about that. Then also, speaking of the fire department, there's a lawsuit that's been filed. They have reached a settlement, but there's a discrimination lawsuit from a black firefighter that we're definitely going to dive into. Again, we talk a lot about the police, but what about the fire department? Remember, those are the two entities that have the most money, the most again percentage of the city's budget. I believe somewhere between 70 to 80% of the city's, but yeah, it's a
What?
big chunk of the city's budget going to the police and fire department. So, yeah.
We better find. I want to see them numbers. That's crazy.
Yeah. We'll find it again. It's Yeah, we'll talk about that. I also definitely want to dive into what's going on with the legislature. Of course, some big changes in school aid. Of course, there's a lot of education bills. The governor, Illin Pillin, as we like to call him, pushed for $1 billion budget or a bill for again the state's education. So we're definitely going to look at some of the changes coming down the pipe and some other conversations, some things going on in the state's libraries that we want to dive into as well. So again, as always, if there's anything on your hearts or minds that we're not talking about, feel free to let us know. Anything jumping out to you, Paul? I miss anything?
Well, one thing we were talking about Ellen Pillin, apparently he showed up to the headquarters, so Kimara Snipes got to talk to him. I can't wait to bring her on and find out what that conversation was about. So yeah, man, and Pillin. So Pillin, yeah, we'll talk about it. What's your
I
feelings
see my
on it?
man Paul got some
Yeah.
questions and comments. We're gonna get into it. Let's start this off the right way. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, chat chimers, Buddi3 Da Gawd. Let's go.
Let's do it. What up? What up? What up? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, chat chimers,
Hey.
ghost listeners, radio listeners, everyone that's coming in and out, first time listeners, last time listeners. Appreciate everybody that is joining us today on this, Wednesday, May the 10th already,
Man, already.
2023. As stated before, we will have some special guests on today. We will be politicking with P, history making P, Precious McKesson,
Man.
and also Kimara Snipes. We'll be seeing what's good in the hood, two leaders that are doing the good work here in Omaha, Nebraska. We get to talk to them and find out what's going on in the areas that they are working.
Yeah, man. And they are putting in the work.
They're putting in the work. Kimara Snipes is already in the chat. She's already contributing to the conversation. So we really, really appreciate that. Can't wait to talk to you a little bit later about your conversation with Governor Pillin. I almost called him Governor Illin. Governor Pillin. So yeah, I can't wait to talk about that. Let's see. What were the other things? There was a couple things that I wanted to talk about. So I see Rick Fulton is in the chat. He says congrats to Willie Barney and the huge grant from the Obama Foundation. I didn't hear about that. Hope the Obama money goes to good use.
Hopefully.
Not sure what Obama money you're talking about. What Obama money did they get? Have to check that out. Also, that woman is in the chat. That's Miss Erica Felt saying, don't forget that fire union man that assaulted the black woman but was reinstated to the fire department.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
He was a chief, wasn't he?
I believe so, yeah.
Or the president of the fire. He was like some top brass.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. So we definitely will talk a little bit about the fire department today because that's been a subject that's been going on for a while, too. Also, we'll have next week. Oh, we talked about Juneteenth coming up. That's what I was trying to remember. Juneteenth is coming up, and we were talking on the show about it last week, and we were saying we haven't gotten any information quite yet about what's going on with Juneteenth. Well, Calvin Williams of White Rhino Productions hit me up. He was like, I heard y'all say there wasn't nothing going on Juneteenth, but there's a lot going on.
Okay.
And, so he sent me over all this material. And apparently, yeah, they got a huge show happening. Car giveaway, all kinds of stuff going on. So we'll have him on the show Monday to talk about it all. But so it kind of got me excited about what's getting ready to happen for Juneteenth. Native Omaha Days is another one we're trying to find out what's going on with.
Man.
And so lots happened. Like I said, we've been talking about spring and summer and things coming up. The Black Boats Matter trip that we're talking about possibly going on. So there's a lot coming up, and I'm getting really excited about it. And I kind of want to know from you guys what's going on. And of course, we're going to have our chat chimers kickback at some point during the summer as well. But our break is coming up. The break is June 16th, I believe.
Yeah, it's right around the corner.
Yeah, season 5 is wrapping up right around the corner for sure. And we'll definitely talk about what's going to happen for season 6 coming up. But we'll also talk about getting together, living alive with one another. During the break and just kind of getting together face to face, having a little kickback. I went out and saw a friend last night. One of my closest friends in the world, Arinda Fink, was in town yesterday, and she and it was just good, like living alive with each other, being in the same space, having a conversation face to face. So it was good. I'm tired this morning, but it was good to go out and hang out a little bit.
He tired,
folks.
He tired.
Very tired, very tired. Jumping back into the chat real quick before we get into the stories, Kimara Snipes says, not much to say, really. I spoke more to his counterpart than I did him. I told him, look, wait a minute. Now, we're going to ask you about your conversation with Pillin. So I got some questions. We'll talk about it when you come on. She says, Willie Barney established that the relationship with the Obama Foundation a few years ago. He actually had the person who runs it here as a guest speaker at one of his conferences. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
lots to talk about for sure. We'll definitely see what's happening. Gwen Easter gives us a good morning. Good morning
Hey.
to you. Appreciate you. Wanda Lewis gives us a good morning. I didn't see that till I didn't see that up there. So good morning to you. Appreciate you coming on in. And I'm like excited today about starting the show and speaking to the ladies. So let's go ahead and jump on in, buddy.
Well, let's start the show.
Let's start the show.
Yeah, man, and people finally doing their job. We'll start there. Again, this is a honorable mention. Well, not necessarily honorable mention, but a story that we did not get into. We had it teed up again on Monday, and we've been talking to the senators really throughout kind of the last few weeks, I would say, and about again their push for prison reform in the last I say week or so in the session. Again, just about 6 days, if I'm not mistaken, left in the session, and as they talk about the budget and other things, they are pushing for prison reform and not not coming off the gas. Big shout out to Senator McKinney, um, who's letting the parole board know he's watching. Again, something interesting, quote unquote, happened according to KMTV3. Senator Terrell McKinney, after the public and state lawmakers learned that members of Nebraska's parole board rarely showed up, something, of course, we've been talking about here on the show. Shout out to our partners at the Reader and Nebraska Examiner, and I believe Flatwater Free Press for reporting on this. But the board members are starting to attend more hearings, and I don't know, maybe that is a result of our conversation or just the kind of the attention that's been going on. But they're listening. Again, the board attendance has spiked since spring 2022. That came after, of course, that Flatwater Free Press story broke. In the 3 previous years, the board had recorded votes from all 5 members at only 37% of his hearings. Again, the board met in full only 37% of the time, and the board attendance has spiked again this year after Senator McKinney introduced a bill meant to curtail the number of times a parole board member can miss a vote. Actually, something he talked about on Friday. In the 2 months after that bill's introduction, about 63% of parole candidates had their cases heard by the full board. That's the first time in actually 5 years that parole candidates have had a higher chance of presenting their case to the full rather than partial board, which of course heightens their chance of getting parole as there are more voting members. The board decides whether to allow an incarcerated Nebraskan to serve the remainder of their sentence or jam out, as we've learned is called from Senator Wayne, outside the prison after they become eligible, of course, and set terms for their parole. So there are definitely some benefits, I guess you could say, from all the board members showing up. Sad that it takes this kind of pressure, but big shout out to Flatwater first for kind of breaking the story and bringing it to attention. Shout out to all the chat chimers and really us for having the conversation and again moving it past just the report and just the page, but moving it into the community. And of course, Senator Wayne listening and responding and also putting some pressure on the people. So that's kind of a way you can see how change can kind of be made. Now we definitely can get this bill pushed through, hopefully, to put some teeth on that and actually have some laws on the on the dock to say whether or not what happens or how much time they can actually miss in the rules. But you're seeing the change in real time.
Yeah, and I wanted to note that too because we're talking a little bit as if people remember what we reported on this before. So for a while, it has been reported. I'm seeing who just said that this morning. I can't. I lost the comment. Oh, Brother Valadares says they don't even show up. Yeah, so that was kind of the news before is it was a big problem because they would hardly even show up to the job, and then of course nothing would move if they even did show up, but most of the time they didn't, so nothing was moving, and that was the news that we were getting for a while on that. Yeah. And then we talked to Brother Senator Terrell McKinney. He had some ideas on how he was going to fight that and battle that. And there's other people who have been bringing it up and putting heat on and talking about it. We've been talking about it. It's been in the news a little bit. So I think they're feeling the pressure a little bit and finally making some changes and knowing that if they don't get it together, then there's going to be some stuff and there's going to be regulations and stuff made for them to act right. So they're trying to act right a little bit now. So, but there's some room there. They definitely need more. They definitely need more do more of the good stuff, do more of the same, trying to get themselves there and really look at these cases and really consider some things. There's a lot more work to be done in that area, but at least they're trying to get a little bit of act right now. Because
Man.
so shout out to Brother McKinney for keeping the pressure on for real.
Right, right. And again, keep in mind that this is hopefully can be one of the main mechanisms of getting this prison population down. I remind you, Nebraska is the second most populated prison population in the country. Again, only Alabama has more prisoners. Only Alabama has more prisoners in this country. And again, one of the main ways that prisoners can get out of prison is parole and serve the time with their family and in public. So again, parole boards actually there's some numbers broken down here in the article just to show you how much of an impact it has when all five board members are present. It says about 62%, 62.6% of the time, um, when all five board members are present in voting, again, the board granted parole 62% of the time. That's versus only 56% of the time when three or four members were present. So again, you have about a 6 to 10% better chance of getting parole if they're all there.
Right. Makes sense.
Right.
Also, like Brother Valadero says, they're like wasting taxpayer money, not resolving state issues. 89,000 per person.
Man, come on now.
Very true. Yeah, he says, "Excuse me, but I'm trying to say, is this these parole members make 89,000 a year to make people's life better or worse? This wow. So I thought you was talking about per prisoner, but $89,000 per person on the board. That's what, and then they don't hardly show up. So very interesting stuff. Hey, we're gonna break in. We got breaking news right now. We're gonna break in right now and speak to Precious McKesson, who's waiting in the wings. She's at the airport, so we're gonna bring her on early to talk a little bit before she got to get on that plane. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're politicking with P. It's going down.
Hey.
Hey y'all,
Good morning.
Hello,
How you
hello.
doing?
can y'all hear me?
Yeah, yeah, we hear you.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Okay, I got my earpods in. Okay.
Yeah.
You're in one of my favorite places in the world, an airport. That means we're going somewhere.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
definitely going somewhere.
Really, Paul. Some people hate the airport. That's one of your favorite places.
I love it. I don't like getting on the plane, but I'm glad when I'm at the airport. I'm like, oh, finally going somewhere. That's what's up.
Okay, on the move, on the moves. Where you headed?
I'm headed to Erie, Pennsylvania.
Mm.
Okay, is this
Yeah.
a work or pleasure or both?
Work.
Okay.
Work.
I was gonna say, who go to Erie for pleasure?
I mean, you might have family. I don't know.
Well, actually, I mean, I've always wanted to go to Erie because they always show them during the wintertime when the water freezes and it freezes the back of the houses that are on Lake Erie. So I've always been
Mm.
interested in seeing it. So I am going to go and see that area that we always go see.
Wow.
It's actually quite nice in the spring. I went up there for a shout out to Upper Bound. Went up there for some college tours to University of Michigan, and we're in the kind of the Dearborn Ann Arbor area. But went to Six Flags that's on the lake out there, and it was pretty nice. So yeah, the lake area is nice. Is that?
I got two things to say about that. What you got? What's going on back there? I got two things to say about that. First of all,
What?
what you got? What's that? Is that a shadow?
That's a little mama.
Oh,
I have a visitor.
You
First,
can see her
first
back
of all,
there in the back.
right? She's blurry back there. First of all, you fall in love with everything in the springtime, every place in the springtime, and then second of all, we had to talk about the Six Flags thing later because there's some history behind that I found out. Hi, little mama. Hi, little mama. Anyway, I appreciate you coming on this morning. What's going on in your world? So you're headed there to do some work.
hmm I'm here there to speak
Yeah.
at the oh my gosh, it's a long name, but I'm headed there. I was asked to come and speak at the Jefferson. Oh my gosh, I always mess up the name, so I'm just gonna tell you the exact name. The
Here, I got it for you right
Jefferson
now.
Jefferson Education. Oh no, you didn't just post it up there.
We ready. We ready.
There you go.
So you're going to be speaking at the Jefferson Educational Society.
uh-huh.
Okay. What's the subject? What are you going to be speaking on?
That's my title right there. You're more than a break in case of emergency, knowing your value of your voice and making change in your community.
Love it.
Hmm.
I love it.
Yep,
Let's kind of break.
and that's my title. I just want to let everybody know that's mine. That's no one
I
Yeah,
else's.
love it.
That's mine.
that feels like your flavor. I kind of want to break that down again. More than a breaking case of emergency. That kind of feels like a carry on from conversations we are having on Monday. But let me know what do you mean by breaking case of emergency? What does that mean?
So when I first went to work for the Democratic Party, one of the things I told Chair Clem when we met at Do Space before, this is the first time we ever had a meeting, I had told her that Black people can no longer be the breaking case of emergency vote for for politics, and I
Right.
told her that that was the only way that I would come and work is if I basically had full autonomy of my work, and that they understood that we could not just come into the community and then leave out. And she always stood by that. And so I've always used that analogy. And then basically, I explained to her when she didn't understand what I meant. I said, when you see the breaking case and just say, "Hey, break this glass to pull it in the fire," I said I felt like that was what used to happen in politics.
Mm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
I've always stood by that. We cannot be that person to come in only when it's an emergency and then leave out. We got to be there at all times. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of seen that here on First Sky Omaha, as far as certain candidates coming through when they need the vote, when they need the attention, and then we don't really get the emails returned or the phone calls back. You know what I mean?
I'm bad
And
with calling folks anyway.
yeah, yeah.
It's half my fault. I ain't gonna put it on
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
But
It's partially us, but there has been some people who aren't responding. Um,
but
but
it is that you're right. Like I feel like that too, especially about the black vote. I feel like if the black vote's gonna sway something, sometimes that's and all of a sudden you hearing from them, if you're hearing
hmm
from
hmm
everybody.
yeah,
yeah, and I
yeah,
mean, we
and
talk about the Republican Party, but the Democratic Party, as far as just some of the imagery, you talk about Hillary Clinton talking about the hot sauce in her bag and the whole kente cloth and the rotunda on Juneteenth. Some of that stuff is like,
it's a little sometimes people don't understand like you have to be and I'll say this from the Democratic Party side here in Nebraska, you have to be very culture sensitive, very sensitive,
mhm.
and anything that we do, I am always, especially when it's talking about communities of color, always making sure that we're including the Black caucus, the Native caucus, or the Latino caucus, and making sure that we know that we are not doing something that is insensitive to anybody's culture. And that's just something I stand by. And also, we have to do a better job. I see some of the comments, we do have to do a better job of reaching out to the rural, because there are people of color that live in rural communities. And I think now we're starting to see more of how do we get connected with those communities and really going and making them feel supported. So definitely,
Mhm. Well,
Go ahead.
this is kind of a good time to work in the story that broke, I believe, on Monday about Senator Megan Hunt. You talking about again people not feeling included, people not having their voice heard. Again, it's not necessarily uh, as far as a race. We're talking about tokenism and the black vote, but it's similar sentiment as far as the Democratic Party. And we're talking about why are people leaving, but now we're seeing leadership leave. Kind of as leadership, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, I wanted to ask, I was on the same page there, but I wanted to ask: has the Democratic Party? Is there a statement from the Democratic Party about her exit? No. Okay.
no, we're not gonna make a statement to it because let
Got
me tell you this. I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. You man, trying to find the right words to not be as a black woman in the Democratic Party. You have people who feel they can speak for us. You have people feel that they represent us and they don't. We have two black representatives and we have one Latino, or we have more than one Latino, but on the Democratic side in the legislature. When she left, if you read the story, she didn't leave because of the Nebraska Democratic Party. I want to make that clear.
Mm-hmm.
She left because she felt that she was not getting the support from the national, and she felt that the national people wanted to come in after they saw all the things that they were doing here and all after they mobilized and did that on their own.
The
Um,
filibuster.
yes, we've had a personal conversation with Senator Hunt, and I would definitely keep that personal conversation between her and the chair of the party. Do I like the way that it was done? No. It was done via text message. Um, then, but I will say this is that we continue to do the work. We continue to do the work. and you have a right to choose where you want to stand. But when you move to independent, you do not receive the resources from the Democratic Party. So you're no longer on the website. You don't receive our access to our voter file. You are now an independent. You have to do you and do you. And so I wish her well, continue her fight, and that's all I got to say to it.
Mm.
Let me ask you along those same lines. A lot of people are talking about people leaving the Democratic Party, just in general, not just talking about the
Hmm.
leadership there. But can you speak a little bit to that? Are you seeing? Are there reasons? Can you see reasons why or is that even happening? First of all,
I think people are just leaving, just they're not just leaving the Democratic Party, leaving the Republican Party also. So let's just make that very clear. And people want to be able to have draw a line in the sand and be like, okay, we want to be an independent and be able to work on both sides. That's what they want. That's what they want to do. But I just want to make it clear that it's not just them leaving the Democratic Party. Everybody wants to say, oh, they're leaving. No, they're leaving the Republican Party too.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And deciding some are coming over too. But I guess because everybody wants to think it's just more of a Democratic thing, it's not. It's clear across the board. It has it been more people that have left? Yes, but they become independents. Those people normally do vote in the democratic process. They just don't want to be aligned. But when you look at independents, you have to look at people who, when they say the establishment, there's people who are independents who are very strong progressives like Bernie Sanders, Rohan Khan. You have AOC. Those same
mhm,
people are still doing the work.
right.
They're just doing it on more progressive. They're still more progressive, and so I don't see an issue with it. I just feel like people have a right to make their choice, but it's they just gotta do it. They do what's best for them.
I agree. I get nervous when I hear about, like, when I heard about Megan Hunt doing that. I got nervous because I feel like there's two different kinds of progressives, like you were just mentioning. I'm an independent and more along the lines of the Bernie Sanders independence and AOC independence. So I feel like there's people that are tired of the two party system that are trying to do something
Mm-hmm.
else, and then there are people who are
Hmm.
leaving so that they can become independent, so they can work more with the other side. And especially when I hear about people doing that here in Nebraska, I feel nervous because it's like, oh, so they're gonna be working more with the Republicans now. You know what I mean? Is
I
that
don't,
a
I don't,
fear?
I don't, I don't. No, that's not a fear at all. Because what's the work with them for of the hate that they continue to spew? I mean, do I see Megan Hunt working with the Republicans and being on it? No, I
Yeah,
don't think
yeah,
so.
true, right.
And I just feel like we just have to continue to work hard, continue to get out the message. And I've always said this, and I say this all the time. I have a problem with the messaging because all messaging across from the Democratic Party does not resonate with every single community. When you're
Right.
talking about the issues, you need to be pinpointing the issues that are impacting the community that you're talking to, and that's what we have to do better at. And that's no secret. I say that in front of the DNC. I've said that in front of anybody. The messaging has to be because what happens in North Omaha is not going to be the same thing that happens in rural in Kearney. So we have
Right.
to make sure that we have to talk about the issues that are impacting the people that we're talking to, and and actually taking those issues and really impacting them and really working on those issues.
There you go.
Yeah.
Anybody in the chat
Mhm.
have any questions for Precious McKesson? We are politicking with P today. History making P in the house. Precious McKesson, right here on First Sky Omaha in the morning. So just want to put it out there to the chat. If anybody has any questions or comments, let us know. Let her know, and while we have her here, we'll ask those questions.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to jump into the chat, camera, who's going to join us here soon. But Sister Kimara Snipe reminding us political typology. Again, I want to keep kind of pushing that because I do think that's uh, uh, that's kind of what we're talking about, but to have a name for it and a way to really look at this thing from a different perspective, because you're kind of raised in this two-party system, but this idea to political topology kind of breaks that down even further and gives you the puts it front of mind, like not every, like you're saying, not all liberals are the same, not all conservatives are the same. You can't put
Not all
everybody.
Democrats are the same.
Exactly, exactly. You can't put everybody in a
Hmm.
box. So, my question, and this is something that you kind of mentioned that I want to dive into more as far as independence and what it means to be an independent and not just an
Hmm.
independent voter, but independent voters need independent candidates as well to vote for. And it's very interesting, what you meant as far as, or what you mentioned as far as the resources. So can you kind of dive more into that? What do you know? What does it actually mean? What is the reality of being an independent candidate, or what do you feel like is the benefit of
Um,
being to the two party system?
so to break it down, so when you're an independent, we do allow independents to vote on the Nebraska Democratic Party on the Nebraska Democrat ballot. The
Mm,
Republicans do not. What happens is that what we have also done is that if you're an independent and there's not a Democrat running, like say for instance you're independent, I'll give Cindy Maxwell as an example. She was an independent running for legislature, and there wasn't a Democrat running. So we voted as a state central committee to give her resources and access to the file to
mm,
be able to to be able to be able to have those access. Also
mm,
including her on our voter guide or any materials that we're promoting. Um, so that's what we do. But if there is a Democrat running and as an independent, that independent would not have that access. So they would have to use outside resources to be able to get access to voter data and everything. So that's some of the things. So if it's not a Democrat, we still offer that. We vote on it, and then we include them on um, during the election, not year round, but during that election, we include them
mm.
on materials that we use to get out the vote.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Hmm.
Just as a kind of a music head, again, we're musicians trying to figure out politics. That's the best way I can explain it. And I'm kind of seeing this as like it really is the difference between being like signed to a major label and having all the marketing dollars and the budget and all the resources behind you, and being an independent artist and really having to, really pay for your own campaign trips, pay for your own hotel stays, pay for your own venues to have town halls, like that. Those are the types of things that I'm guessing the resources that you're talking about.
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah, there's
Yep.
not
That is it.
major money behind independence,
Mm.
really.
So again,
Yeah. I
that
mean,
goes back. Go ahead.
oh, go ahead. No, and then you have to see when you start to get for endorsements, depending on who there. I mean, you can see different organizations endorsing independents, but they kind of sometimes they go. Some are lean more toward Democrats and independents, but it just depends. So you just out there, um, and there's some groups that embrace independence.
Mm.
So I mean, you just have to really. It's like a gamble that you have to take. You're taking right there. But I mean, it's not that it's not known. It is something that's done all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Let me jump in the chat real quick. First of all, I want to go to Marianne Williams' comment first. She says, "Love you, P. I'm concerned that the resources aren't shared with like-minded independents that can help further dim causes, though.
That's
And nothing you can do about that. The Democratic money is
nothing you
Democratic
can do
money,
about that.
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep, it's not. But again, if there's not a Democrat that's running, then yes, it can. But again, if it's an independent, that's why it's a It's two parties. I mean, that's just how it goes.
And I know we do have a lot of comments, and well, I do want to get to the chat, but I'm just kind of, my mind is kind of going, and I'm understanding, and it's furthering just
It's like
like how
it's like
we've
this.
been talking about how money impacts this whole thing, and again, these parties as these big machines, and you need the resources, but it's just very interesting. Like, you have to subscribe to this two party system to get the
Yeah,
resources, and it's like, is that
that's. I
really
mean, if
is that really the system though? Should
yeah,
that really be it?
yeah, because if I'm a Democrat and I'm donating my money to the Democratic Party, I'm donating it to the Democratic Party to who is a
Mm-hmm.
Democrat, not to the independent. I mean,
Mm,
that's like if I'm donating money to say, hey, this is to help somebody with OPPD, I can't go give it over to MUD to help people with MUD. I specifically said where my money is
right,
going.
Yeah,
right,
Just how it
right.
happens.
So that's what
like
basically this is what the American people are paying for.
like brother
Where
Hmm.
their
Knight
money
said.
goes to.
Like brother Knight said, you out the gang, no dollars for you.
Man, that's man, but it's just, I'm trying to wrap my mind around it, but it's just very interesting, this relationship between, money, politics, who supports what, and it really is like you said, the money is coming from the people who are
Mhm.
subscribing to this and supporting it with their own dollars.
I mean,
It's,
there's independent party support. It's just
Yeah,
nowhere near the amount of money that.
it doesn't have the amount. Yes, that's correct.
is there an independent central committee?
I'm not
I
sure.
don't know. Nope. Nope. Mm-mm.
Hmm.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Thank you for jumping into this party system. I would
Yeah.
encourage you to go back. I'm not really able to go through all the questions that Brother Valadares is putting in the chat because they don't seem like
Oh,
questions that can be answered.
well,
Uh,
They can be answered, but Guillermo is one of our party leaders. But I mean, he can ask those questions. He can always leave me an email also. But I'll just say this in regards to one of the questions that's asked, because this is always asked. One of the questions that he did ask is feeling ignored, saying that we can't accommodate people in virtual. I just want to I'll say this, and I say this with all respect. We have followed every single guideline by the National Democratic Party as well as our lawyers when it comes to accessibility.
mhm,
Before 2020, we did not have a virtual option, and people were just fine with being a part of the Democratic Party in the process.
mhm,
When COVID hit, that is when things changed, and we had to go in and look at another method of using virtual. But again, we have followed every single guideline. I have been on many calls with the ADA, the National ADA. I've been on calls with lawyers from DC. I've been on lawyers from DC, from the DNC, and I am strong that we have supported and we will continue to support and make sure that people have accessibility as much as we can. I am a firm believer that everybody needs to have a voice, and I will continue to fight for that and making sure that we're giving that voice. But I feel that those questions can always be asked at the Central Committee, and then also at my email, precious@nebraskademocrats.org.
mhm. Yeah. Okay. Sounds like we need to have Brother Valadares on too to talk a little bit about his role on that side, on those sides of things. But
Yeah,
yeah, we
he's
appreciate.
out of Grand Island.
Oh, got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, good stuff. I like the power to the people. You're right. Like
Mhm.
I understand the questions that are being asked. They seem
Mhm.
more like statements to me though. Like this is what's needed, which is why I was framing it that way. Framing, if you have
Yeah.
actual questions that can be answered here, then let's ask them. But
Well, I mean,
making points for sure.
yeah, and I mean, I see the comments, the fix the party rule and urban miscommunication. I don't see it as a miscommunication. I just see it as a lack of communication, or not
Mhm.
hitting certain key points. But I feel that we have a strong rural community as well as an urban community. We just have to really get people really motivated and active in voting. But not only that, we got to get people of color on the ballots. We got to give people a reason to want to go to the ballots. I mean, we can't tell Black people to go vote, Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans to go vote, but they don't have representation. We got to make sure that we are getting good candidates on the ballot so that these communities can have representation.
Yeah.
And
Well.
if you're a candidate of color that you want to run and you want to have the backing of the Democratic Party, you call yourself a Democrat. Even if some of the ideologies that you have are different or leaning towards a different way or leaning towards an independent way, you guys are still across the board supporting Democrats. Doesn't matter
Yeah,
how far their message sways. If they claim Democrat, then they're gonna get that help. Is that right?
that is correct. And I have to let me see. Hold up. I think my plane's about to board, y'all. Let me
Mm.
look. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't
The
miss your
departs at
flight.
8:16.
Yeah, we gonna
Oh
let you
yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah. We're about to
We,
board in a minute.
good luck on this here, the Jefferson Educational Society speech here that you get ready to go make. I think they're going to very, very, very much be benefited by your
Hmm.
presence and you speaking on this subject. So that's what's up. Distinguished visiting speaker. I like that on that badge there. That's what's up.
Yeah, but I mean, look here. I'm just precious. I'm like, when I saw that, I was like, can y'all kind of tone it down a little bit?
Hey, you gotta own it. You gotta own it. You moving and
I
grooving.
guess
So
so. I
you
guess
know,
so, y'all.
and we appreciate you. For taking a break
No, I
to
appreciate
speak
y'all,
with
and I
us.
appreciate. No, I appreciate y'all always, and I appreciate the comments. And again, anybody ever, I'm always open to a phone call. Open to emails, anything y'all need. Y'all can always reach out to me. Again, and I know that we're going through a tough time right now, and I'm just gonna say this, and I stand by this, and I've said it on Twitter. The fact that we have 33 senators, Republican senators, or however, and one Democrat senator who is continuing to push against rights for trans rights and women's rights, just let you know it ain't cool. And I stand by that, and I don't care. And yeah, and I just let you know we're not playing this. We're not about to play this game. It's a line that's drawn in the sand now. If you are voting against women's rights and you claim to be a Democrat and you say you're going to vote against women's rights and trans rights, there's no sense of you even trying to run for office. I'm be honest with you. You just got to stop, because we cannot continue to let people do that to us.
Mm.
So Pick which one you want to be. But I'm gonna be honest with you, we're not playing no games. We're not.
Wow.
There you go.
Appreciate you. That woman says, travel safe, throw some pennies under your seat and enjoy yourself.
Oh no, I have my Ponca corn. I always travel with this. Shout
Yeah,
out to our native. I always travel with my Ponca corn, my
okay.
sacred Ponca corn. I have
Yeah.
tons of them. They give them to me. I got some from Frank Lemire when he was alive, and then I got some just recently before they went up and did another one. So yes, I always keep that in there. So
Okay.
Y'all some superstitious people.
no, that is native. That is native. That is sacred Ponca corn. So yes,
That's,
you keep that with you.
appreciate you. Thank you. You can have a safe flight. We'll talk to you soon.
Guys.
Peace.
Peace.
Bye.
Peace.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Politicking with P. History
Hey.
making P. Precious McKesson. Can't wait to. I think I saw something on here where, yeah, we're gonna be able to see. Let's see, it's live. You can live stream the webinar. Hey, I don't know. Maybe you want to check it out tonight. See what she's talking about here. So we'll throw this in Friends of First Sky Omaha. You can visit this website here, and then and check out her speech being live streamed this evening. That's what's up. Jefferson Educational Society.
No, that's actually Thursday. It's tomorrow. Thursday, May 11th at 7 p.m.
Oh, okay, got it. Zoom live, got it. All right, yeah. So tomorrow, so yeah, maybe check it out. I might have to see what she got going on. See her speaking skills. Let's take a quick break and come right back. We got our next special guest, seeing what's good in the hood with Kimara Snipes coming up. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you
Hey.
chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners. Thanks for joining us. Brooke Allen gives us a good morning. Appreciate you very much. Brother Nice said, gang mentality, man. I'm trying to tell you, talked about that Blood In, Blood Out, which is like a West Coast classic movie. But yeah, man, I always talk about it all the time. The Republicans and the Democrats. For real. There's two party they set tripping. He said they set tripping and talking about cats in the hood. Right.
Man, that's what I was trying to. I'm trying to like. I definitely appreciate Precious for breaking it down, and it makes sense. Like I definitely understand where she's coming from as far as the people. But it's like, man, if you don't organize, if you're not part of a well organized group, you can't get anything done in this country at all. Anything.
There you go. You got to get on Bad Boy or Death Row. One of
them. Man. Like, and if you're out there just, trying to think alone and think independent, and trying to just not go with the gang and the sheep and the mentality, and
you only get so much money if you're on Stone's Throw.
Man.
You get that Death Row money, though. You
man, it's just very interesting. Very interesting.
Zane says, love you, miss you, Uncle Paul. Love you too, Zane. My dude, what's going on, brother? We'll talk soon. I'm gonna come by with the car one of these days.
The dude.
We're gonna go ahead and invite our special guest in now. So a leader amongst leaders here in Omaha, Nebraska. Somebody who we always enjoy talking to, the incomparable Kimara Snipes. We're gonna see what's good in the hood. Wow, you all dressed up looking great.
I do like. Is that a blazer?
It is a blazer. I've been trying to work on my branding.
Okay,
I think
okay.
blazers and jeans is a good safe space
I
for
like
like
it,
comfort, but still being able to show up someplace.
especially
But I
with
Okay.
that, especially with that color.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
popping. I like it.
Got the hair.
it's
You looking
love. It's
good.
just love. It just says love, but it's for a
Okay.
reason.
Yeah,
It's for a reason. I have a presentation today.
sweet.
Lead Diversity has a cohort, and Cami Watkins had reached out to me. And so I have a 3 hour presentation today on
Mm,
organizing. So we're going to talk
Exciting.
specifically about direct action organizing, what you need to really plan that process, grassroots fundraising, and then just how to be like equity LASIK throughout that process. Not an
Mm.
equity lens, equity LASIK.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
Is this a public event? Is this
It's not. It's a cohort that was put together, and so they actually have a full day
Oh,
of
okay. Okay.
trainings that they're going through. So that's going to be my piece of it. So
Okay.
it sounds like it's a group that's being put together to create some type of change, which is wonderful because my presentation is organizing for impactful change. So
There
Love
you
it.
go. There you go.
Good luck to you on that.
thank you.
Just letting everybody know, 7:55 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, and we are now on with Kimara Snipes. Seeing what's good in the hood. First of all, how are you feeling? I mean, if you're feeling how you're looking, then you must be doing all right. You
Yeah.
must be
Yeah.
doing pretty
Well,
good.
the love is because when you're an organizer, you should be always operating out of love and care for people. And so that is what that is about. This is a bittersweet sort of week for me.
Mm.
My son turned 23 yesterday.
Okay. Happy
Um,
belated.
Thank you. We went out and then I took him to the motorcycle club
Okay.
last night, and he doesn't do anything. He's a no shade to Tauruses, but I feel like y'all don't do nothing. His father was a Taurus too. I'm like, y'all don't want to do nothing. But anyway, and so we hung out and everything. Um, Tomorrow is the news is kind of already out, but tomorrow is a bittersweet day for me too. It's my last day at the Nebraska Civic Engagement table.
Oh, really?
I am moving on. I can't say to where yet, but I will say that I appreciate and am grateful how God is moving in my life and allowing me to do the work that I want to do in
Mm.
the spaces that I want to do them in. Not to say that I haven't enjoyed working across Nebraska, and I plan to continue that actually, but I have an opportunity to bring my focus back to the Omaha area, and
Ooh.
that excites me. So even as I've been listening to y'all talking, I'm like, yeah, there's gonna be some collaboration here. I don't know what it looks like
Hmm.
yet, but it's gonna happen.
Okay.
So, and I'm also leaving Friday for Black Wall Street, so I'm just like geeked. So yeah,
Lot going on. Lot going on. Definitely
Good.
wishing best
Well,
safe travels for you.
thank you.
this is definitely a shock, and I
Yeah,
don't
I
know if
saw
I
your face.
appreciate you shocking us with that, and then telling us what you ain't gonna do next yet.
I'm sorry.
We got a
You know,
hold of you.
there has to be rules. You know, you have to prepare when you're giving the world, really, really great information. So
Right, right.
you got to do baby steps.
She said she working on the brand. No leaks. No leaks.
Okay,
No
all
I've
right.
been
leaks.
working on this for a little bit though. When I ran for mayor, somebody was like, you need a brand. I was like, ugh, I hate shopping. Don't talk to me about that. But
Yeah,
Ah.
I'm the
I
same way.
mean, you do though. You do. You're very outward facing, and people gravitate towards that. And sad to say that's just some of the things that you have to do to get to where you're
yeah,
going.
which also
Uh,
requires money, which also
right.
brings back into the how now we're starting to exclude people. So you don't have a brand means you can't participate. It's just messed
Mm. And so I see you kind of listen to the conversation we're having as far as resources and
yeah.
candidacy and things like that.
Yeah, let's talk
What's
about
your take
that.
on that? I mean, as an organizer, what do you think that means? And somebody in the chat mentioned that kind of leads to apathy, voter apathy, as far as not the messaging, and certain candidates not being supported.
As a matter of fact, Marianne Williams says the policy not to share resources could be a problem because 52% of millennials and Gen Z are independents.
Yeah.
Think the party will adjust eventually.
Yes. What are your thoughts?
I always try to just approach things from a practical standpoint. And at this point, it just is one of those things where it is what it is, right?
Mm,
Like the Democratic Party has their resources for Democrats. That's the way that they are operating and functioning. I've always thought in my mind, the independent party. My son is a registered independent. He actually switched parties, I believe, last year. And I talked to him about it. We were talking about this, and I told him, I said, at the end of the day, son, so the independent party needs to find a way to fundraise and really build their platform. The Democratic Party has done some things to be supportive to the independent party, mainly just, allowing them to vote on their ballot. But, maybe Megan Hunt making that move will bring the independent party more attention that they need. I know that there's advantages and disadvantages to like 2-party versus 3-party system. I know that one of the advantages for me is like you have more choice. A lot of times when we talk about even political topology, right? Sometimes with some Democrats and some Republicans, there's very little difference, right? So if you have a third party, maybe that's a space for that. Disadvantages, there's the Electoral College, right? And so then what happens if nobody gets the majority? There's all sorts of things to consider, and that's just where my brain goes. Sure. But I have family who are independents, friends who are independents, and I think about Cindy Maxwell Ostiak, who just ran for state senate, phenomenal person. And just remembering when I was trying to support her, how bad I felt for her because she didn't have access to those resources. And so at the end of the day, the independent party needs to find a way to really organize, which includes that grassroots fundraising piece. And now maybe they have a little bit leverage, i.e. power, to be able to do that.
I think they need more than grassroots fundraising. The other parties are heavily funded, privately, corporately, all kinds of different ways. And I think there might be a movement for independents to be in the same boat, because there's a lot of Gen Zers and millennials that are owning major corporations and stuff now. If they went that direction, then they might be able to help fund some of that stuff.
Yeah,
And have
grandparents leaving them a whole bunch of money.
yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of millionaires made, especially with like Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and a lot of people like Politicin, a lot of Gen Zers are finding ways to make some pretty good money in this digital space. And where that money goes, definitely. And as we're seeing younger people get more politically active, again, we talked about with Chris, some of the activity from the youth, especially with LGBTQIA rights and education rights and things like that. I am curious to see where that goes, and maybe we will see the parties kind of adapt to that change, as Marianne Williams is saying. But my thought is, like, alone the only issue with this, as far as the independents organizing, and maybe y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but we talk about the Republican script, and we know there's at least some sort of democratic ideology. Can independents really organize? Like, is there really one ideology for independence? Like, if I say I'm an independent, can that can really mean anything, right? Like, how can independents organize?
How do you group independence?
Exactly.
There has to be an independent platform, right? I don't think I've ever actually like Googled it myself, which is a problem now that I say it out loud. But there has to be some sort of independent platform, which is what they stand on, right? And just like with any party, you come together and you decide together what you stand on, what separates you from someone else. But there has to be an independent platform out there. And so I'd like to see what's on that independent platform. I'm actually about to go look it up.
Well, please do. But
there's a lot of other parties out there too, like the Green Party that
Libertarian Party.
I always feel like those parties are probably just as funded as independents, and sometimes I think that some of those parties ought to try to get together to be at least a third party. It's unfortunate that we have to keep on worrying about these parties, though. I think, especially when the parties are not really addressing the things that individuals need, which is I kind of think the reason why they go independent in the first place.
Right. And I'm thinking, like, to even be grouped up, isn't that like kind of antithesis? Isn't it like
gang up though? It's got to be gang.
You do, but you're independent. Like the term is independent. Like, You know, so to say you're
but
grouping up in some kind of way,
but
doesn't that make you
but
not independent?
but independents are a reaction to the two-party system. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
they're sick of they're tired of having to choose different things. Like I said, I was saying earlier, some independents are way more liberal, like Bernie Sanders, and AOC, and some are, because they're they're going even further than the Democratic Party they feel it needs to go, which is the reason why they're independents. And some people are independents for the other reason, because were Democrats and they don't necessarily want to be Republicans, but they still, they don't like certain things, like how they agree with some of the things that Republicans are saying. So that's the problem to me, is that the problem to me is first of all that there's these party systems. Somebody said earlier in the chat, if they take money out of politics, then that would help a whole lot, because then you can vote your conscience. You know what I'm saying? But it's hard to do with this party system, and I feel like the independents are like a kind of a direct reaction uh, what was to not agreeing with either side. Looks like her
Kimberly
internet went out
froze.
there. She's froze. Yeah.
Look like we lost her. But I'm kind of alone that, like, thinking about the money and the politics, and quite honestly, I'm not sure of how the national level will work, but I'm actually kind of leaning toward, like, what if there's just a public pot? Rather than you pick a party and you donate to that party, what if you pay taxes, your tax dollars go to whoever's going to run, or it's more of a public pot.
Well, now we're getting into think tank
Yeah.
speculation, because we also, because if we're in season 5 where we're trying to find the like-minded folks and get the teamwork together to make the dream work, then we got to kind of work within whatever system is out there to work within.
Yeah.
Brother Knight said, need money in the capitalist system. There's no way we're not going to be able to do that without, and live in the capitalist system without having to think about these. It's going to be resources being pooled some kind of way.
Yeah, I agree. I'm letting my mind kind of wander, trying to understand this
Think
thing,
tank, right. I got you.
but like what Kimmer said, it is what it is.
Also, Von Chapman got a good point too. He says having to choose the best of two evils is the problem.
Right.
I really feel like that's the reason why independence even exists. Marianne Williams says there's also disappointment in not living up to party platforms. So, people make all these promises. It's hard to, you know what I'm saying? You make a bunch of promises and then you don't keep them. We having what I'm trying to get to right now at 8:07, if you believe in the concept, is this idea that the Democratic Party, and now that welcome back. Now that Precious is not on with us right now, because I don't like to talk too bad about what's going on democratically. I don't want her to feel defensive.
Mm-hmm.
I like to make my questions be pointed when it comes to asking her things. But I really do feel like that one of the things that we haven't addressed, that I know we all talk about, even behind the scenes on the show and everything else, is really, we got to talk about white supremacy, because we got to talk about how we can associate. We can always say, let's what we feel like the Republican Party doing is white supremacy, but Democratic Party is kind of two sides of the same coin,
Mm-hmm.
also trying to keep supremacy in the money, and so on and so forth. So there's sometimes they're catering to certain groups. There's promises made. They go back on them promises a lot. Where's my student loan debt forgiveness, Biden? You know what I'm saying? I mean, we got to talk about it. We got to get down to that thing. The reason why we're upset about this two-party system is because they're attacking it from both sides. And what they're doing is supporting white primacy from two sides. And so we're trying to say, well, let's put a whole nother party out there, an independent party. But who's going? Where's the money going to be for that support?
Yeah.
Kimra, is anything I'm saying striking a chord?
This is tough for me, because I think about Precious, right, in her position,
Right.
and that's what makes it tough for me, because
She's got a job to do.
She has a job to do, and she's a Black woman doing it in a party that, like I keep reminding people, like, I wish you could talk to people like Pastor Banks, Willie Hamilton, Robin Quarles, some of us who were around back in like the early 2000s. And Willie and Pastor Banks was around before I was, and so it's about what she's also stepped into.
Mm-hmm.
And, I appreciate the fact that she's very protective of her work. But not even a but. And, unfortunately, it's really tough to have tough conversations. I say this all the time, and it's getting to the point where it's kind of cliche, but it's so true. Like, it's so hard for people to have tough conversations. We talk about this at work. I have to have conversations with my executive director sometimes that I don't want to, but you have to do that, right? And so with this party, I've talked about what I've gone through as we talk about white supremacy, what others have gone through. And I definitely see, feel, hear all of that because it has all happened. Have I seen some changes since Precious has been there? Yeah. Can she make those changes by herself? No.
No.
It's interesting you say that though, because the notion that I got today talking to her, it hit me. Oh, she's inside the Democratic Party right now, she's in there in a fight inside the Democratic Party, trying to make some changes because she sees it. Can't necessarily speak out in the way that she would if she wasn't working with the party. But I also am getting that notion that she's inside working under the behind the scenes. Right. And we also have to say there are some things that the Democrats do that is making some of a difference. It's not making all the difference it needs to. It's not making all the difference in every community. But after I just read all the bills that got passed in Iowa just a minute ago, how the Republicans got every single bill they wanted. They're gonna ban books. They're gonna take money from public school, private school, everything, all that whole list. I'm thinking, see, if there wasn't nobody battling that, we'd be in real trouble.
And that's how we get caught up in this two coin situation and the lesser of two evils. And it's very interesting. And kind of going back to Pressure, and it's funny because I watched the Atlanta Goof Who Sat by the Door episode, talking about people going on the inside and trying to change things. Yeah, or excuse the language, but the spook who sat by the door. Read the book, watch the movie, which the episode is based off of. Yeah, read the book. But it just kind of has me thinking about just all of us, and what it is that we're doing, and what this really is, and whether you're Kasim, whether you're, who's seen as a radical and national, whether you're Precious, who's in the system trying to make things happen, Kimara, who's, in the system, but kind of doing nonpartisan work and trying to organize, however deep you are in the game, it seems like we're all just trying to make change some way that we can in the system. But the thing is, this two-party system is very interesting. I'll go back to the filibuster that happened. And I just kind of want to break down where we are in this system trying to make change. Because the Democratic Party, thinking of the senators, is really all we have. Because if you're not a part of the two-party system, then you can't really get in the game to make change. And we see where the Republican Party is. But the Democratic Party is also interesting because you look at this filibuster and what happened with LB 1024 and the LGBTQIA rights. And again, we're in support. But it seems like if it really doesn't have anything to do with white people, then they don't win. It gets put on the back burner. You get told to wait.
I'm starting to read Kimara's idiosyncrasy. When she starts stacking paper like that, she getting ready and look on put that in her face.
I see it too. I see she's fidgeting with that paper.
You see what she's doing? She getting her notes
multitasking. I'm multitasking.
Okay. But
and listening.
Okay, and I'm trying to wrap my thoughts up because I feel like I'm kind of soapboxing, but it's just very interesting just seeing we're all on the same mission but doing it in different ways. And this Democratic Party, again, not to pile up on the Democratic Party, but Precious agreed with what she said it herself. The messaging is a problem, and that messaging is a problem for a reason. Like, it's if they wanted to get the messaging right, they would.
Well,
I'll say it. This is Mark Buddi McGaw saying it. If they wanted to get the messaging right, they would. They get the messaging right just enough to get the vote. And Precious, I understand people like Precious are trying to make change, and we need that. but she's also up against the monster that is the Democratic Party that
Right.
is what it is. And she talks
Right.
about Democrats that she deal with also. So even though she's in it, she's still a part of us trying to deal with the monster.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, exactly. And I have to say, I don't think that they are. I think the messaging is exactly what the messaging is. They're not getting
Right.
it wrong. They're getting it right the way that they getting it white. They getting
I
the
will say
messaging real
this.
white.
I will say this: the Nebraska Democratic Party just hired for their communications director a gentleman by the name of Jose Flores Jr. Jose is actually on my leadership team, the South Omaha Neighborhood Alliance. Now, I can't speak to what his work will look like, but I did talk to him and I said, okay, look, I said, you're the communications person. Let's sit down and have a conversation. I think he's fabulous too, which is why I asked him to be on my leadership team for Sona. And so I said, I'd love to talk to you. I said, because, messaging, and you're absolutely right, messaging is very important. That's something I told him I'd love to talk to him about. And I imagine Jose would love to talk to anybody. And so I would suggest even making that connection. Precious can definitely make it for you. I can make it for you because I'm pretty sure he loved your input. Here's one thing I have noticed from just being involved at different levels of government, nonprofit sector, and all that is a lot of times people intend to do well but don't really know how to. And so I believe that is kind of where we come in. And this is my opinion, and all opinions are my own. And it's my opinion that I have some responsibility if I'm able to in reaching out and trying to do what I can to help you get connected. Because again, Omaha is a very segregated city. And that means we grew up in a very segregated city. I was blessed because my family had me all over the place, right? Back and forth constantly between North and South Omaha all the time. But everybody hasn't had that. And so sometimes people need some direction. And the other problem is everybody don't want to ask for your direction. So that means you got to play a little chess and not checkers and find a way to give it to them without even seeming like you telling them what to do. There's so much stuff and ego we have to deal with, which is unfortunate. But if the ultimate goal is getting the job done, you're going to do it. And so I'm happy to make that connection as far as with Jose and communications when it comes to messaging for the state party.
Totally, yeah. Let's do that for sure.
There you go.
I do want to jump into the chat a little bit because, buddy, you already stood on your soapbox. So
Yeah. I apologize.
It's all good. So good. I'm glad you fired up this morning. That's what's up. Brother Valadera says everyone is doing amazing work in the party. Public pressure is needed for change. I like that idea. That's definitely along the lines of what we're talking about here. Marianne Williams says a large number of older Dems would not support universal health care, and that doesn't sit well with me when they run on related issues all the time. Same with wage increases. This is what we're talking about. There's all kinds of different kinds of Democrats in the party, which is, I don't see how you can go get one message out of people out of that type of situation. Brother Knight says, if you don't understand white supremacy, which is racism, everything else will confuse you, says Neely Fuller. Quote from Neely Fuller. Also, Tony Johnson says, do they even want a difference or just to say a black person is part of them? That's kind of sometimes I feel like that's the question. That's the question, bro. Like that's the question. Sometimes you in there and they say and like we heard in the legislature that time, we're representing what we're talking about is people from the black community. Nah, that's not what's up. So yeah, that's interesting thing. Marion Williams says we have a Dem in Nebraska proposing a sub minimum wage for the young workers she employs in her grocery store, and that is a horrible message to send to young voters.
Yep.
There's a lot of stuff going on in Friends of Sky Omaha with articles about what's going on with child labor. How there's it's national news now that they're in the packing houses in these dangerous positions, and all we are seeing in the legislature is people trying to lower their wage and allow them to work more. I mean, who's behind that? Because I see both sides voting for that. Also, moving on, Von Chapman says neither white Democrats or white Republicans appear to be interested in the local black kitchen table issues in Omaha. If they don't listen to the messaging coming up from the local community, how are they ever going to improve on the 29% voter turnout in the last election cycle?
Agreed.
Yep,
I
yep,
agree.
yep. Rome's reviews. It looks like Amir Sanchez says, "Love, love, love, Jose." Everybody's loving Jose. That's we go. We
Yeah.
definitely have to meet him. Whitney Richardson in the chat. What's going on?
Hey.
What's up, sis? She says, Dems are playing it too safe and need to decide what kind of party they want to be. They can be the party for rich white people and corporations, or the party for working class and black and brown folks. I'm glad you said it like that, because what I feel is they've already decided what they want to be. They're mostly white, and they're going to be working for the corporations and trying to keep the money and trying to keep the power. They're doing it on a platform of, but we care about everybody, and that's why they have to have people in representing these everybody's they're talking about. But that's not, when it comes down to it, it's going to be their agenda every time. We just saw it in the legislature. There's the C, and she just
Stacking the
put the
papers.
exclamation point on it with the stacking of the papers. That's what I'm
Got a
saying.
lot to do today, y'all.
Tony Johnson said many feel that people from party are always telling people what to do, talk down, presentations are not helpful.
Yeah.
If I complain about not knowing about meeting, your response should not be show up and participate. Okay. Also, let's see what else. Judy Princess says, please let Kimra talk. Yeah. Yes, we got to get off our soapboxes and let Kimra talk today for sure.
I was thinking that.
If Democrats are not responding to conversations in First Sky, who are they responding to? Good question. Yeah.
So I do have a question for you, Kimra, as far as your organizing efforts and, talking to people. What would you, in your opinion, would you say, is it more people not aware or not caring about the issues, or people just really disenfranchised with the system?
It's a combination. And I think that also people are sometimes disenfranchised because they don't understand it, right? That's the reason why with the table, there was a lot of emphasis and impact put into, education and awareness being part of the goals for the organizing plan. And that was really looking into, this is research driven, under asking the questions around, why young people aren't voting. We're talking about even the survey we're going to create for that, digging into it. We already have a list of reasons why young people aren't voting. So, we're creating mechanisms around that to be able to share information, give people the information they need. There's so much that people just don't know. So I think that's a part of it. Apathy is a part of it. It's kind of just all thrown in together.
Yeah. So with the table again, just to remind myself, Nebraska, the table is nonpartisan. So you
Nonpartisan.
Right. And the work that you're going to be doing after you leave the table, is it still going to be that kind of
Nonpartisan.
Okay. So you always
I like this lane. I do.
So what is it about that? Let's go along that line. Like, what is it about that lane that you like?
With the work in the nonpartisan lane, if I want to go into a business, it's a whole lot easier. If I want to go into Omaha Public Schools, it's a whole lot easier. If I want to go into a church, it's a whole lot easier, right? Nonpartisan allows you into doors and spaces where else you might not be. The party conversation can be scary to people for a number of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
A, they may, identify with another one. B, it could be their job and, the IRS and different things like that. So that nonpartisan space, just to me, it allows me into a lot more doors. With the South Omaha Neighborhood Alliance, I can partner with Nebraska Civic Engagement Table and do work. With the Nebraska Democratic Party, no, not really. So for me, it's just about, and then everybody, if I'm a Democrat, I go into a space, what if it's all Republicans, right? Mm-hmm. Who wants to have that conversation? And so it also allows me to be able to hold conversations with different people as well, which I like to do. I talk to everybody.
That's very interesting. It just makes me go back to what Mr. Stewart says about the gang mentality, because just growing up in North Omaha, let's be honest, that was one of the main reasons why I really never wanted to join a gang. Like, what if I wanted to go to South Omaha to play basketball? If I want to go here to do this, like I can't go over there because I joined y'all. Like, You know what I mean? Like and it's very interesting, and I want to lean more into that as we bring you more through as far as your nonpartisan work. Because I kind of feel like you get a unique perspective with that. Like, do you feel like there's issues that people are actually potentially could agree on more if you take the party thing out of it?
Oh, without a doubt. I know I sit down, let me tell you something. I come to Scooters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's this, I want to use the right words. This is little old white man who comes here. And he's a Trumpster. You know what I'm saying? When I was running for mayor, we talk at the time all talk all the time in here. Anyway, we talk all the time in here, and we had good conversation when we left the space of Republican Democrat. Would I ever hang out with this dude? No, but I try to be cordial with everyone, especially in the space of Scooters. But we were able to have some decent conversation, you know. And when I see him now, he friended me on Facebook. Hey, Kimara, how you doing? And all that stuff, you know. But that's because I'm gonna talk to everybody, and I try to make everyone feel safe. I can't help it. That's just who I am. But also leaving that political stuff alone.
Right.
And you find that there are some things that maybe you might agree with, right? Buddy says it all the time, that conversation rules the nation. And I add to that, with proper communication, because communication is a process, right? And it requires certain things like listening and allowing someone to speak, even if you disagree with them, things like that. So,
yeah. Love that. Well, that takes us. We got about 4 more minutes left. If you can hang with us, and because we want to know. So this, what you're saying right now to me is the reason why. When I think of you, I think of the neighborhood association. I think of you're reaching out to the neighborhoods, trying to bridge gap between police and neighborhoods, so on and so all the work that you've been doing. And so how does that translate for the neighborhoods? How do we make a difference by starting with that neighborhood association? I'm giving you a chance to plug the association.
How do you make a difference in Omaha, Nebraska by joining your neighborhood association? Is that what you're asking me?
I guess I can ask it like that.
And you told me I have 4 minutes.
Right. How much time we got?
Dude, right here.
How much time do we have?
Well, let's assume it does make a difference. But what's the how does it make what's the best way that it will make a difference in that goal?
Everything that we see in the chat, that we talk about, that we complain about righteously, because we have a right to complain, in my professional opinion, can be solved through collective impact, right? And collective impact is different networks, different groups of people who come together to solve issues. A neighborhood association is a group of people, right, who live within a physical space, which, by the way, is an asset, right? Who come together to solve an issue. This is how the South Omaha Neighborhood Alliance was created. Okay, an issue was happening and people got together to solve it. And through that, this organization was created. And not just an organization, but a long-standing organization, because the people came together to address issues. And when they addressed one issue, boom, that's the win. They continue to address more. Man. When you do that, you put yourself in a position to gain power. Typically for us, our power is always people. The other side usually has money, resources, and all of that. But we have people power. With people power comes the ability to not give them something they want, which is typically a vote, right? If it's your landlord, it could be rent, whatever, right? Or an opportunity to give them something that they want. Right. Could be a vote. You see what I'm saying? So we still have power with people. And so neighborhood associations have power, but it also, the people within it, they have the opportunity to build their power because they're doing this on their own. They're not inviting in the experts and the lawyers and this and that. They are doing this and they are doing it themselves, which is empowering to them. And when you are empowered, you are more resilient. And when you are more resilient, you can deal better with the trauma that is impacting us every single day. So I could go on for days about how neighborhood associations are a benefit, but could you imagine that in every neighborhood?
We need it.
every single neighborhood, especially in East Omaha. Not only are you empowering people, but I go back to every person I know in a neighborhood association is not just a voter, but an active voter. General elections, municipal elections, all of these elections, midterms. See what I'm saying? So now you're also shifting the vote, which is then shifting the power that we trying to change anyway.
Yeah, because they believe in their power and they can see their power effectuate in real time. Therefore, they believe in it. Therefore, they use it, which is very, very interesting.
I want to jump in. Earlier, Kimara put in the chat that she talked about the Pillin visit. Pillin came to the hood.
Speaking of building bridges,
and you and you said in the chat that you didn't really get to talk to him too much, but his aide. But Judy Prince was asking about this again. So tell us again about this visit. First of all, where was he? Where was he at?
So I y'all know I come to Scooters every day.
This is the headquarters, yeah.
And I told my team at work, I said, let me tell y'all the importance of always leading with love and care. When I come in here, I talk to the staff all the time. They're my people. And so I came here the other day, they was like, oh, Miss Kim, guess what? We ain't supposed to tell nobody. Governor gonna be here. I was like, oh, for real? I'm showing up in all my glory in the morning. And so, yeah, I came on up here and he was here and I had no intent of being disrespectful, rude, nothing like that.
Right.
And so he came up in here and, he was talking to people. He came in and talked to me for a second. I told him I'll be seeing him again real soon. But I use it as a chance to really elevate the South Omaha Neighborhood Alliance and see could I build a connection for that. Because, I'm a Democrat. Yeah, I'm not a fan, really. But, again, conversation rules the nation. And if I have the opportunity to be able to sit down and have a conversation, I want to do that. Because I don't just represent Kimara Snipes. Indeed, when I have that hat on, I'm also representing neighborhoods in South Omaha, which is a multitude of people. It's not just about me.
Right.
So I use it as an opportunity to elevate the South Omaha Neighborhood Alliance. And,
but tell us about the visit, though. First of all, why was he there, and what did you say to him?
I don't know why he was here. He was here with Julian Young. So maybe holler at Julian because Julian's the one who got him down here. They all came in here together. He came in. He talked to some people, got some coffee. The girl came to me before he got here. She was like, Miss Kim, like, it's a woman sitting outside right now, literally with a crack pipe. I said, what do you want me to do? I said, he needs to see that. You know what I'm saying? He's coming to North Omaha. It is not all rainbows and roses and flowers out here. You're gonna tell her to leave. You know what I'm saying? Because he's coming. I said, let him see it. He needs to.
I'm just gonna put it out there for that corner because Julian Young Associates' his building is there. He also is the one that owns Scooters, and then that white man that owns the building brought that smoke shop in there, and that's where a lot of the crack pipes and things that are happening around there is coming from.
I tell you what, it's interesting you say that because I come here every day, and in the last year within that space, there has definitely been a shift and a change down here, and it's to the point where. It's a mental health thing, and I pray for people because some people are becoming aggressive. Right. You know what I mean? So it's definitely been a shift. So now that you say that, that makes sense.
It's unfortunate. I've talked to Julian about this a few times. It was almost intentional. It felt intentional, as far as he's concerned. And then you do stuff like bring the governor to the area, and the governor's gonna go back with this idea. Oh well, that's North Omaha. They got crack pipes sitting out there. Bro, that's some white man that came in with a smoke business and because the rest of that corner is Julian Young putting it down like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was putting black excellence on that corner. And he was trying to get that. He was trying to get that last building, and the guy wouldn't give it to him and put a smoke shop in it. And now you got people vagrants begging and people smoking outside and begging for money and all kinds of stuff going on out there. Because
I'm not going to say that's just now because just across the street, that's been going on for years. So I can't say it just started now.
Well, I'm saying on that corner it did. On that corner. Yeah. On that corner. But anyway, we already running past time. But just to get back to it, you said you talked to Pillin's aide a little bit too?
Yeah, he came over and kind of stood by me, and I was also working, and so I believe it was Stuart. Don't look at the chat. Yeah, talk to the aide, and again, just kind of use that told him I was like president of the South Omaha Neighborhood Alliance, and trying to make that connection, but he seemed like he was a little busy. But
Oh
that's okay.
yeah. Was that your first time ever making contact with anybody on Pillen's team or anybody?
I remember during parade season, if you remember, I was consulting on Greg Gonzalez's campaign, so I saw him quite a bit during that time, but he never really stopped to chat or anything like that. So
Okay. And Tony Johnson giving us some context as well. He says he was in town for the steel plant opening.
okay.
Okay. A steel plant opening. Interesting. Okay, well, that's the kind of stuff that happens over there at the headquarters. That's not the first official that I've met over there at the scooters. Like I say, Julian Young puts it down. He's attracted many people, and especially people in power as well to come around, and so that's another reason why we used to have meetings there every week, because you end up running into somebody or whatever.
Never know.
So appreciate that. Appreciate that you go there regularly. That's the headquarters still. And if we're gonna talk to anybody, like the governor is probably gonna be right there on the corner of 30th and Ames. So that's what's up.
There you go.
Before we let you go, what's good in the hood? Anything that's got you putting on your love jacket for? Anything that you feeling good about?
I am just excited for, it's bittersweet leaving the table. That's my team.
Shocking.
I put the team up on my cover photo on Facebook. That's
Yeah.
my team. But, I feel good about, leaving them situated where they can be successful. I feel great about going to Black Wall Street Friday. Like, I cannot wait for that. That's gonna be my little getaway. So I'm just very excited. I have my presentation today. Like I said, I'm just very grateful for how God is moving in my life, and I couldn't be more thankful. And I'm truly blessed and highly favored. So
Nice.
Beautiful.
yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, thank you so much for spending your time with us this morning. I know you got lots to do. I know that's you were over there multitasking because you got a full day. So we we appreciate you, and we apologize. Thanks, Judy Prinsler, for getting us back on track. We apologize.
Thank you, Judy.
Let the
Got
woman
my
speak.
back.
Let the woman speak. I heard that. That's what she's here for. She but she was like, that's what she's here for.
I said, damn.
So we appreciate everybody that's jumped into the chat and it's got some good comments and questions also, and can't wait to see you next week and hear about your new. Are we gonna know about your new position next week?
I hope so.
I hope so too.
God, I hope so. I'm so ready.
I'm so shocked you came on here talking about you leaving the table. I'm still shocked.
Man.
Why Shaw's
Yeah.
still gonna stay on? She's still over there though, right?
Huh? Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Most definitely.
Nice.
Most definitely. Her and Riley
Okay.
together.
So
Yeah.
that team is still gonna be strong, but
Yeah, and like they already know they can hit me up for any sort of advisement, whatever, because I'm here for the long haul.
yeah,
There you go.
I hear you. Appreciate you. Have a good day.
All right, y'all. Have a good
Talk to you
day.
soon.
Peace.
All right, let's take a quick break. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd.
Hey.
All of you, Chad Chimers, Ghost listeners. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the DS.
Paul Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you Chat Chimers Ghost listeners, appreciate everybody that has come on to the chat. Yes, Kimara. Appreciate that very much.
Yes, yes.
And it's always a pleasure to have them on and hear what's going on behind the scenes and get some more clarification on some stuff, man. And, all the things that we've been thinking, and we just learned so much from them. So I just really
Man. No, that definitely had my mind going, man.
Yeah.
Kind of had that jump on the soapbox.
And then Judy Prinzler with
Yeah.
the quote of the day right here. So that's what's up. Appreciate you very much. She on
Yeah.
the show for a reason. Come on now. So thank you very much for joining us. We do have a few more stories that we wanted to jump into that we didn't want to leave hanging. So maybe we can do a little lightning round of those.
Man, my thoughts exactly.
Yeah, but you guys are going off in the chat, man. I'm trying to take a look and keep up with you guys are talking about, going back and forth. I love the fact that you guys are speaking with each other as well, and having some conversations. Remember that's what we do in this particular chat. This particular chat is we use as if we are speaking to people face to face, and I just want to remind everybody about that. That's what we're doing here. That's why we're doing it live. Otherwise, we would just play a video and let everybody kind of talk out of. It's an interesting phenomenon because most people put stuff in chats that for recordings and things that's already happening, or to troll. That's just kind of like what we've all learned how to use the chat for. So we're definitely doing something different with our chat. The reason why we go live 3 days a week is so that we can have a conversation where it's like we're talking to each other face to face, and that goes for the chat as well. So I'm glad that there's like side conversations going on and things happening. Just remember, what we're doing is speaking to each other as if we would speak to each other face to face. Just got to reiterate it. It's not here to put your, to make a point. If that's the kind of conversation that you have to make a point every time you speak, then that would get very, very annoying. So I find myself always having to do that too, especially if I'm in Friends of First Sky Omaha or wherever I'm at. Just remember, I got ideas, but I'm not trying to I'm not trying to make a point or trying to throw out questions that are like hypotheticals and so on and so forth. I mean, there's a time and a place for all that kind of stuff, but here we're just trying to have some real conversation that can get to some action. So we appreciate that very much. Rome's Reviews gives us an update on subscribers, 208 subscribers now on YouTube. Really appreciate that. And I really appreciate the ladies that have come in as well today, for sure. I know you would have said that's why your quote's so good, because it's like you saying it real time, real talk is what we're all about. So that's what's going on. Let's do a little lightning round, buddy, on some things that we wanted to not leave hanging today.
Yeah, man, definitely want to jump into some of the moves made by the city. I'm trying to kind of quickly scroll through the budget, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to find that. I just wanted to find the percentage, of how much the Omaha city is spending on police and fire, because that number is getting bigger. Actually, the Omaha City Council, according to World Herald, just approved $2.9 million for a new contract to design a new police and fire headquarters. This comes just on Tuesday as the council again approved $2.9 million contract to plan the new downtown police and fire headquarters. This agreement is with Leo A. Daily firm, who of course you've seen doing a lot of projects around the city. And again, another one is coming their way. This is for architectural services, engineering, and master planning for the new facility. I'm going to share a picture real quick just to kind of give you a glimpse. Man, just another tower, another another one. Wow. coming downtown. Yeah. You kind of see where the city is going, man.
That's going to be the new police.
This is a rendering. This is where it's going.
It reminds me of Blade Runner, that big LAPD tower they had in the movie Blade Runner.
Man, RoboCop. I mean, you name it. Again, $2.9 million for this. It is set to be sitting near 15th and Howard Street, so just west of the old market. The Omaha Fire Department's headquarters building is about a block away. So again, this new building will serve as a dual purpose for both Omaha police and firefighters. If the goal goes as planned, the new headquarters could open by the summer of 2027, which is not far away. So there you go. More toys.
$3 million just to plan it out.
Yeah. Not to mention the actual construction of the thing, which
will be 80 or 90 million.
Yeah, and probably good 70% of that'll be TIF. I mean, you never know, man. So Yeah, yeah, another thing to look out for.
Right.
Man. But also on the other end, there are some issues with the fire department as they have settled a lawsuit. In other news, a discrimination lawsuit filed by a black firefighter has reached a settlement to the tune of $275,000. The settlement was reached just yesterday with the former Omaha firefighter who alleged discrimination and harassment based on her race and gender. Jane Crudup, who was hired as a full-time firefighter back in 2019, according to the lawsuit, which was later filed in 2021, says that she was the fifth black woman to serve as a firefighter in the city of Omaha's history, spanning more than 150 years. Crudup alleged several incidents of harassment and discriminatory behavior, including one incident on March 3rd, 2020, in which she returned to Station 41 near 61st and Ames Street, which my stepfather actually was stationed there. And that's where she found her fire coat, pants, boots, and helmet hanging from a flagpole. She says she found her helmet hanging above her firefighting coat, displayed in the
Oh,
order,
yeah.
simulating a hanging or public lynching, if you remember that. And again, I will say that my stepfather served as an Omaha firefighter for several years. He was stationed near 61st and Ames at that same station, Station 41. And we heard some stories. And he, pushed to be, he trained and studied very hard to be a captain and was blocked for some reasons. I don't want to speculate too much, but you can kind of draw from that. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Wow.
Again, lawsuit has settled $275,000. But yeah, also some chat members also reminding us that I don't know if it was the chief of the fire department or the firefighters union, but again, some of the top one of the top fire brass also got in trouble for assaulting a black woman at a bar. If
Right.
you remember that, and eventually got his job back. So again, kind of put you in a, give you a glimpse behind the firefighter veil, if you will.
Moving on.
Yeah. In other news, this is very interesting. This is happening out at a Plattsmouth High School. Yeah. There's more book banning attempts, but this one is very, very interesting. The librarian actually resigned after the public spoke up, and not just the public, but her own family. Talking about Terry Cunningham Swanson, who is a Plattsmouth school board member who crafted the book removal policy at the meeting. Her own son, and also he was recently on the show. He is a documenter. Deshaun Cunningham faced her directly and spoke against this book removal policy. Deshaun says she's made statements about being against critical race theory, which can be interpreted also as Black history. She has 4 Black children, myself included. What these bans encourage is a lack of civility. So even within my family, there's been breakdowns in communication about what that's what the nation is going through.
Miss Erica Feld, you see, right?
Uh, yeah. Very, very interesting. If Deshaun is willing to talk about it, we definitely will.
Yeah, we'll have back on for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Again, he was probably there as a as a documenter. Again, this is a school board meeting. He's a documenter, and here it is, his mom trying to ban books, and he had to step up.
I'm not sure if he's in there as a documenter, as the official documenter for that particular meeting because he was speaking up, which documenters are not encouraged to do. So I think he just knew that was coming and he was there to be like, "Mom,
Man,
you got Black kids. What are you doing?"
And it's very, very interesting. We always talk about this script. Again, she's vocal about not supporting critical race theory, but has 3 or 4 Black children, as she says, and then her supporters is very interesting. There was one gentleman who came to that board meeting to support this removal policy, and he says that he's not even sure about what the books are about. Actually, he doesn't even live in Plattsmouth. He just came to support this board member because she was a friend. He says, I actually am not familiar with the content at all. No sane person believes that children should be able to read anything or watch or view everything. So we're just trying to figure out where's the line.
Tony Johnson said, resigned librarian different than mother. So this is another person that resigned. But anyway, she's in that system saying that, speaking that.
Again, was it Rita? Terry Cunningham Swanson is a board member who is actually crafted the policy. So she's not the librarian who stepped down, but Again, she is the one who crafted the policy. The librarian who stepped down is Christine Noose, excuse me. She says, I made the difficult decision to leave the district following the events of the last board meeting when the book, quote unquote, reviews began.
So this is interesting. We've been watching closely the legislature. This is the first time I've actually watched it. I've been calling it my soap operas. It's like crazy stuff going on in the legislature this whole year. One of the crazy days was when this book banning thing came up, and they were trying to have a say in what goes into school libraries, and people were picking like books that had the most sexual and crazy stuff in them, and was in their reading passages like the whole legislative day. Supporter of book banning after supporter kept coming in and saying, and this is what's in our junior high school libraries, and then reading like the most crazy stuff you ever heard. Real X-rated day at the legislature. I'm just thinking about like how passionate people were about these things being in the libraries at school.
Mm-hmm.
That a middle school person or a sixth grader or whatever can get and read. I mean, I felt what they were. I felt what they was talking about. It's an interesting thing, but the question, but what I can't stand is them tying this whole thing into like critical race theory, tying this whole thing into like Black history. They're tying. They want to ban books, and they want to ban them on the strength of they have all kinds of sexual innuendos and sexual situations and all these situations that are bad for people. Then focus on them. Why are we also banning books that talk about Black history and so on and so forth? So it's interesting. Tony Johnson says mother supposedly had ties to extremist Facebook groups. Interesting stuff. I don't want to speak too much on it. Like I said, Deshaun is a friend of First Sky Omaha and a documenter who's a partner of ours. He's been on the show before. He was the one we were calling the deep diver of all things. He's a deep diver, and he deep dives into issues as well. So we will definitely ask him to come back on and speak on what was going on there. But interesting, bringing it close to home, this fight.
Yeah. It goes back to the conversation of, political topology and just where, ideologies come from. And even within certain family dynamics, those things can differ based on your experience. You know what I mean? It's just very interesting. So, yeah, looking at that situation, just kind of to wrap that story up, though, the Plattsmouth School Board they said they will continue to revise the policy. So they are still considering the policy. They are revising it. And there may be some books that are banned as a result of this policy. Currently, 52 books are under review. Moving along in other news, but staying with education, momentous changes, says the headline from the Omaha World Herald, coming in school aid as the bill advances in the Nebraska legislature. Talking about Legislative Bill 583, which is actually a key piece of Governor Pillen's tax cut and school aid plan. Again, Governor Pillen put out $1 billion school plan, and this bill is a part of it, and actually it received its second round of approval. Again, LB 583, which was introduced by Senator Rita Sanders of Bellevue, will nearly double state aid for special education and guarantee state support for every public school student. Together, the changes will increase the state support for schools by about $305 million for the upcoming school year, up from the $1.3 billion estimated for that year. So it's about closer, if my math is correct, to about $1.6 billion coming to public schools. Money for the additional aid will come from a newly created Education Future Fund. The state budget package sets aside about $1.25 billion for that. Those fiscal years ending June 30th, 2025. Plans also call for adding $250 million to the fund each of the following years. So more money going to public schools, but definitely continuing to look out, as far as does that mean that there'll also be support for the private school situation or the charter school situation. That conversation is still ongoing. And I'm sure there's still more to this bill. Again, LB 583 still making its way through the legislature.
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit more about that when the senators come on about whether or not they think that means that North Omaha is going to be benefited by that. because I get the feeling that they don't really feel like that's really gonna make it too big of a difference for us.
No. And the way it's very interesting because you still got property tax formulas and things like that. TIF, how that impacts. Yeah,
Right.
more of a conversation.
There you go.
But moving along, we kind of mentioned it, but we just want to give a little more context again to the departure of State Senator Megan Hunt from the Democratic Party. She, again, not necessarily registering as independent, but her change has been to nonpartisan. Basically, Hunt, along with State Senator Michaela Cavanaugh, of course, is drawing national attention for their filibuster over abortion and gender affirming bills. But she said Friday that Nebraska lawmakers have not been supported, by national organizations, and that some coverage on the issues has included partisan descriptors. She says, "I am a leftist. I want to be a part of the work to move the country and the party to the left from where it is now, and it's not compatible with the work the Democratic Party is doing." Which is very interesting again.
Man, what a statement.
It is. Hunt said that some news outlets have also used her name in really weird pieces with sensational partisan language, and I didn't want to be a part of that, even though she has explained the state's culture with its state house. So again, going back to what Precious said when we had her on earlier in the show, that the departure had more to do with the national party and some of the support and actors coming in to kind of take over the conversation, if you will, the narrative,
Right.
and she's not really jiving with that. So
I thought that might happen when they were getting national news coverage over the filibuster and all that. That the National Democratic Party would come through and be like hanging on to that. So
man. So yeah, definitely interesting. We're going to try to get Senator Hunt on to talk about the filibuster, to talk about her departure from the party, and anything else that might be on her plate. But that pretty much does it for.
We got to mention that Trump got.
Yeah. That is a mention. Again, Trump has been found liable for battery and defamation in the Jean Carroll trial. This goes back, I believe, to the 1990s. A federal jury has found former President Donald Trump liable for battery and defamation in the lawsuit brought by writer E. Jean Carroll, who says she was raped in her Manhattan department store in the mid 1990s by the former president. 9 jurors who deliberated for barely 3 hours before reaching their unanimous conclusion did not find that Trump raped Carroll, but did agree that he sexually abused her and that he defamed her when he denied her story. Carroll was awarded $5 million in total damages for both claims. Yep.
Interesting stuff. Well,
there you go, and that's just one. Of course, Trump is also on facing trial for the witness tampering case, and his trial. There was going to be some he was potentially looked at for witness tampering for, again, his campaign. That's still another trial. There's another trial in Georgia and another trial in Florida, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, it's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yep. So there you go. Little lightning round. There was another thing in the Quad City Times about we spoke earlier a little bit about what the Republicans were passing over there in Iowa, and I was trying to just kind of look through some stuff, and just to give you an idea, we won't go through the whole thing, but just to give you an idea, they passed bills over there to ban discussion of sexual orientation or gender identity in kindergarten through 6th grade, ban books with descriptive depictions of sex acts from school libraries, required schools to notify parents if a student requests changing their name or pronouns, allow parents to review and request removal of instructional materials in the classroom, require parents' permission for students to participate in any survey that asks about specific topics, so more control with the parents. There's also more governmental control. The governor is in control more now of what's going on in the state. They did a gender affirming care ban, bathroom bill, child labor laws. We talked about child labor laws earlier, about how they're trying to make the laws a lot more liberal.
Man.
So banning books. So basically all these things that we're talking about and been fighting over here in Nebraska, the Republican Party all the way down the way kind of got their way. We talked about that Republican script all the time, and how that's something that they're all going for in every state, it seems like to me, and Iowa won all of that. So
Even I'm looking at the SNAP requirements. They changed SNAP.
change
Uh,
snap.
yeah. Again, you have to have, I guess now $15,000, which is worth, or in a second vehicle worth more than $10,000. You have to have assets totaling 15,000, or a second vehicle worth more than 10,000. You also have to fill out a questionnaire and comply with child support payments.
So they peeled back aid, all kinds of stuff.
Man,
Yeah. Way out stuff. We'll come back to some of this. Also one more mention too. Just to put it out there. LinkedIn laid off a bunch of people. 716 LinkedIn employees were laid off. This particular person was able to keep her job, but that's a huge chunk of the community, man. I know a lot of people that worked at PayPal. We got to kind of check up and see if they check up on them, because a lot of people got laid off. There's a couple places that a lot of people got laid off in Omaha. And this is one of the biggest ones. So if you know anybody, reach out. They may need some help. They may need something. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate everybody who's in the chat right now. It is 1 minute to 9 o'clock. Want to go ahead and get out of here. Before we do, I just want to make mention next Monday we will have Calvin Williams on, who is getting down with Juneteenth. There is an Omaha Freedom Festival celebration happening. We'll talk to him more about this. That's happening. It's going to be like all day long there on June 17th. And then later on that night will be the concert. They've done this before over at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation. Music Soul Child, Life Jennings, and Anjali and Timeless will be there. So we'll be talking to him more about that. And yes, Miss Erica felt there was something about a Juneteenth giveaway.
Okay, I saw that.
Donated vehicle, yeah. So
car giveaway.
Yeah, we'll talk to him more about that when he comes on for sure. Also, don't forget about the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation celebration coming up on the 19th.
Man,
they're filling this out more. Dr. Franklin Thompson is going to be talking. Brother Sherman Wells, friend of First Sky Omaha, talking about the Vivian Strong Memorial Committee and the fact that he found that's his relative. I like the fact that Denise Chapman is going to be moderating. Terry Crawford is going to be on the panel. So this is going to be a pretty great panel. I'd love to see what's going to be on the agenda for the speaking, what they're going to be talking about. But this is just part of what's going on with that Malcolm X Day celebration. So it's going to be a luncheon panel and awards ceremony there on this day. So definitely check that out and get your tickets and be involved. MalcolmXFoundation.org. That's May 19th, 11 to 1. It's coming up. 9 days.
There you go. Also on the LinkedIn thing, Mayor Sanchez commenting. He says the wife works for LinkedIn. She has a job for now. We're going to be all right. Man.
Tough, man. Tough. I'm happy for you though, for sure. That's what's up. It says Rome. He also says, "Thank you, First Guy and family, for providing a brand product that I can endorse." I like that. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you for supporting.
Tony Johnson, I'm wondering what the topic is too. So we'll see. If we got to wait till the day of, we're gonna find out one way or another.
We gonna see. But we definitely should support. Rest in peace to the late great El Haj Malik El Shabazz.
There you go. Buddy, you got some words for the people?
Man, of course, big shout out to Precious. Safe travels to her, but thanks for, stopping in with us before she hit the sky, jump on the clouds, if you will. So yeah, definitely looking forward. Again, her speaking engagement will be live streamed tomorrow. So if you'd like to check that out, maybe we'll post a link on Friends of for you to check that out.
Yeah,
again, she's addressing don't be a break in case of emergency. Have your voice heard. Our voice matters. So definitely have your voice be free. Have your voice be heard. So that's definitely important. Big shout out to her. Also, shout out to Sister Kimara Snipes for stopping through and speaking with us, stopping at the headquarters. Definitely, if you haven't been, go support, man. Big shout out to Brother Julian as well. Go check out the scooters right there on 30th and Ames. Black-owned business right there in the heart of the hood, man. So check it out. Support. And, of course, shout out to all of you who are supporting via the chat, by chat chiming or just ghost listening, man. Everybody who's tuned in, we appreciate you. We love you. We thank you. As always, looking to grow, looking to expand. So tell a friend. And without further ado, Paul B, take it away.
That's what's up. Marianne Williams says 42,000 independents in Lincoln alone. We really gonna have to address this independent situation for sure.
Yeah,
Miss Erica Fell says, I appreciated the show this morning and I learned a lot and considered some things, including my personal filter. Thank you. Everyone drink your water and be good to yourselves. Appreciate that very much. And I want to reiterate what Brother Mayor Sanchez says. I love that. He says, thank you to First Sky and family for providing a brand product that I can endorse. That means a lot to me about that you feel that way about what we're trying to do here. So that's what's up. Amy H. No Dot says, thanks for another great show. Thank you for all your involvement and the things that you're doing and teaming up with us on. It was good to meet you the other day. Pop says, Women's Wednesday was a smashing success as always. Much love and see you all on Friday. Appreciate you, Pops. And Marianne Williams says, thanks for another great show. We can't do this without you, so we want to thank everybody who joined the chat today and had great comments, great questions, great information, and it was very respectful to everyone. I really appreciate that very much. I want to give thanks to the Omaha Tribe elders who I'm going to go out to go see this afternoon.
Man, take some pictures, man. Get some footage.
I'm bringing all the cameras, bro, for sure.
Man.
And I want to give them thanks for allowing us to be on this land. As a matter of fact, we're going to get a land acknowledgement for the Benson Theater. So we're going out there to ask the elders for permission to be on the land and to have people come perform at the Benson Theater. So that's the reason for the trip. But shout out to them for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before them. And shout out to you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you. Really, really appreciate that very, very much. We cannot do this show without you. It's not just a news show or information show now. It's a roundtable discussion that we're having 2 hours a day, 3 days a week. It's a very valuable conversation. Like Buddy says, conversation rules the nation, and we really appreciate everybody who's there engaging with us. Thank you also to the supporting members of the channel, the $10 people, the $25 people, the $50 people. Gotta thank you. That's the only reason why we can keep this thing rolling. So if you're so inclined, please, and also the people that are dropping independent amounts as well, because there's an option on there for you to drop however much you want, and some people are really, really helping us out every once in a while. So really appreciate them, and we will be having perks and things coming soon for members. So stay tuned for that and get a hold of us. Hit us up on Friends of First Sky Omaha or First Sky Omaha, the main page. If you want to help volunteer on some of the things we're trying to do, like the events and stuff like that we were talking about earlier, you're so inclined to help us expand and put some things together, let us know. And if you're so inclined to donate, hit us up at firstsky.omaha.com. Hit the donate button. We really, really appreciate that very much. Yeah. So we're going to...
Well, really quickly, I do want to give you some flowers, man. I definitely appreciate you, man. Just, being able to do this with you, like, look at you like a big bro, but, we're also peers and just being able to do this. I appreciate your input, the work that you do behind the scenes, man. Just wanted to give you some flowers publicly, man. Like, man, dynamic duo, man. I definitely appreciate,
That's kind of the theme around here. We have a bunch of dynamic duos on all the time.
I told y'all teamwork made the dream work. It don't gotta be a lot of people, it just gotta be a few good ones.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you too, man. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you very much. I enjoy it. I feel like this is definitely the thing. I wouldn't be able to do this thing without you. So we're this
likewise,
is definitely a power twins. What do they call them? Power twins.
Activate.
Yes.
Regulators. Mount up.
That's right. It is 9:07. If you believe in the concept of time, we have once again broken our agreement to stop at 9. We apologize for that, but I don't think you mind too much. And we'll see you on Friday when we'll be talking to Brother Senators Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne about the last few days of the legislature.
Man.
Going down. Until then, in the meantime, between time, take care of yourselves and all that good stuff. And thank you so much for supporting what it is that we're doing over here. We'll speak to you soon. Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the red, the black, and the green.